Hi, I'm Josanne Wright Callender, and I'm the author of the Happy Little Garbage Truck picture book. And it's also an educational program. If you visit my website, which I'll include in the description box below, you can find more materials which I created to go along with my picture book, which teaches self esteem. And I've been creating these little clips to these videos to help parents during this time of the quarantine for COVID 19 to help them with some tips and techniques that I've used in the 27 years that I've taught. Now, my toolkit is pretty extensive at this time, but I'm really hoping to share a few with you that you can find useful with working with your child during this time period. And also, I wanted to mention that these tips that I'm sharing with you today in particular are some things that you can use in other areas rather than just academic areas. Now, I believe that the two most important areas where a child builds self esteem are in academics and social skills and social life skills situations. So, we're talking about today academics and also social environment and social times. So, it might be going to the store, which of course no one's doing a great deal these days except the grocery store. Maybe it's just waiting patiently, or it could be finishing one's work in time, or doing household chores. So these are social tips that help socially and academically, and in particular schedules. We talked a little bit about them yesterday, and today I just thought that I'd mention that in addition to building a child's social um, skills, abilities, and self esteem, schedules help build a child's adversity quotient, which is their resiliency. And this is what we're really helping children do to become more independent and to be more tolerant over a period of time doing non preferred tasks. And it can also become a daily game. You can say something like, well, let's see how many happy faces you'll earn today, or how many stars will you get on your chart. So today, I thought that I'd share a few more of the tips on social skill types of tools that I've used, and schedules in particular. But before I go on, I wanted to once again mention this wonderful kit packet that I found online, and it's called Supporting Individuals with Autism Through Uncertain Times, and it was put together by the UNC Frank Porter Graham Child Development Institute Autism Team. So I'm going to include a link in the description box in this video, but I would highly recommend that you download this and check it out, because it really is an incredible resource for both teachers and for parents, which is why it was created. It was created for parents for this particular time. It has social stories on the COVID-19 virus at different levels, so that you can read it to a child who's very young or to one who's a little older with a few more terms. But it's really, they put a lot of time and effort into this, and that's why I'm plugging it, because I was so surprised at how well developed and how many supports and links they include for your use. So first of all, in my own toolkit, I thought about yesterday mentioning having a timer and a child earning so many happy faces to earn a preferred activity. This is another one that I've used, and I just went through a few of my resources and said this one, if you could create a chart like this, a preferred activity could be like the reward, but this one spaces it out over how, like I said, it could be 4 or 5. Like, I need 5 stars to get my prize. And then once they finish the whole chart, they turn in the chart and you give them the prize. Or it could be 4, and you could put the prize in the very last box. But I've also seen people take a chart like this and X out every other square, and the child only needed 3 stars. So you know how many, about what level of tolerance your child would have, and you start using the least amount of boxes and build up to the most, the extent of the full chart. Another chart or schedule that I have used, which has been very effective, is a daily schedule. Now we put every single thing that the children or a specific child was doing in my classroom. And it took some time to think like, okay, backpacks put away, sitting on the rug quietly, listening to the calendar. So this has everything that we did in a school day, but you can take the same idea and schedule out your child's day at home. And then each of these boxes at the end is where a happy face would go. And you can also use this as the reward for this prize. And so once they get 5 activities finished, then that's also a prize point, because this chart is a little bit more vague or generalized, but it could be paired with something that's more specific. Another chart or schedule that I've used has been one developed by a friend of mine at one of the schools. She wanted something smaller to carry around with her. So she put like 5 different activities, and then a happy face would go in the diagonal area. And after the child finished 5 of these, then they could also be eligible for getting their prize. So it's just a smaller format. Now, if you wanted to do a weekly schedule, this one allows a child to compare their progress over time. And so maybe setting the table, this is a home and school schedule, but it could also, I think this one can be adapted just to the home, but like we included setting the table, we had it for our breakfast in the classroom. But Monday, if they did a great job in doing their particular activity that they were assigned to do, then they would get their happy face. And then over the week, if they accomplished like 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 activities correctly, then that would also be a prize. And I also use this to have a prize box. And my students would, or if they had like 10 or more happy faces for the week, which, I would total up and then say, okay, each of these schedules, maybe there's 10 activities. But if they got 10 blocks done correctly, then they would be eligible to get a token for each block. And then I could say that the prizes are in the box are equal to 10 and more points per item. And the nicer items in the prize box were worth more tokens. But this was a little more complicated schedule, but it was fun. The children looked forward to Friday, which was the fun day that they get to go into the prize box and count up their tokens, which was adding math to the program. And it was just really, really effective. Now, these little pictures can be downloaded online. I believe it's the PEX. I'll look that up and find out for you for sure and put it in the description box. But some of them are, they do cost for subscription. But I think if you just do a rough thumbnail sketch yourself, kind of approximating what the task is, that would be just as fine. So I included all of these tips to help you. Hopefully together, they'll help build your child's self-esteem, because through play and encouragement and a positive mindset, this is how a child develops that inner locus of control, which is their independence and self-regulation. And so until next time, I hope that these tips have been helpful, and we'll, I think, go in a little bit more on self-regulation tomorrow. But until then, I hope to see you in the future. Thank you.